Wet your hands. Rub your palms together. Rub the back of your hands. Interlink your fingers. Cup your fingers. Clean the thumbs. Rub your palms with your fingers. Or else your hands will be dirty like this. It might lead many diseases.
Good morning, children. I'm very happy to meet you all through this online class. Have patience. God isn't finished yet. The Philippians 1:6 says like this. Be patient and take rest under His foot. Sit and meditate His words because His time hasn't come yet. With that note, we'll go to the lesson. So what are we going to learn today? A new lesson from Biozoology, Human Health and Diseases. So under the topic, we're going to start with a new topic, diseases. What is disease? Dis means not or no. Ease means comfort. So if someone is not comfortable, that means he is having a disease. He or she is having a disease. So what is the exact definition for disease? According to WHO, World Health Organization says health is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being and not merely absence of the disease. So if a person is physically, mentally and socially normal, that means he is a normal person. If he is not normal in those cases, that means he is a person with disease. Health is wealth. Yes, the health increases the lifespan, the longevity of people and reduce the infant and adult death rate mortality. To maintain a good health, the personal hygiene, regular exercise and balanced diet should be followed. The results of disorder or malfunction of a mind or a body. So if a body is malfunctioning, the organs are not functioning well, any disorder happens that leads to disease. It involves morphological, physiological and psychological disturbances due to pathogens, the organism which cause diseases, genetic anomalies or anomalies, lifestyle and changes. So the disease involves all these factors. So what is the classification of disease? How are the disease classified? It is classified two groups. The first group is called infectious disease. The disease which can infect one person to another person. It is transmitted from one person to another person. It is also called communicable disease. The organism which cause diseases are called pathogens. It is transmitted through air, water, food, physical contact and even the vectors like housefly, mosquito are also carry diseases or the microbes. Example, bacteria, fungi, virus, protozoan, helminthes, all these microbes can cause diseases, so they call pathogens. Most of the bacterial diseases are very curable. You can take antibiotics and you can be cured. But some of the viral diseases are not curable. Mostly that leads to death or fatal. Example, AIDS. The second group is called non-infectious group or non-infectious diseases. It is also called non-communicable disease. It is not transmitted from an infectious person to another person or one infectious person to healthy person. Okay, it is caused due to the genetic factor, gene recombination or nutritious factor. If the person takes less nutrition like carbohydrates, vitamins or protein, it can lead to non-infectious disease. Degradation of organ in the body. Among non-infectious diseases, cancer is a major disease that leads to death also. Okay, let us learn some common human diseases now. You can find the 5 diseases here, which caused by bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoan and helminthes. Let us learn one by one the common diseases. The first one is bacteria. Bacteria cause disease like cholera, typhoid, plague, pneumonia, etc. The viral diseases are common cold, mumps, dengue, chickenpox, poliomyelitis and corona. The fungi causes diseases like candidiasis, athlete's foot. The protozoan diseases are malaria, African sleeping sickness, Azar and Amibias. The last one, the helminthes, filariasis and ascariasis are the two common diseases caused by the helminthes. These are some of the common human diseases occur in the environment. Let's learn few groups now. We'll start with the bacterial diseases. As you all know, bacteria is a microorganism. Some of them are pathogens, some of them are useful in many industries. And the different shapes of bacteria are cocci, bacilli, spiralli and vibrio. Now there are some group of bacteria can cause disease. Bacteria associated with human diseases are called pathogenic bacteria. It's nothing but bacteria which cause disease for human being are called pathogenic bacteria. They may emit toxins and affect the body. Once a bacteria enter inside our body, they emit some toxic poison substance and they can affect this poison can affect the body. It spreads through air, water by inhaling the droplets, aerosol and even sharing utensils, exchanging the clothes also can lead to bacterial diseases. Some of the common diseases are, as you all know, typhoid disease, the bacteria, TB, tuberculosis, typhoid, all these diseases. Under this typhoid, it's a very common bacterial disease. Okay, and this typhoid spread through water, mainly through contaminated water and the food. Now this typhoid can be confirmed by the lab test or laboratory test called Vidal test. Let's learn few groups of bacterial diseases. First, the disease, causative agent, site of infection, mode of transmission and the symptoms of 4 bacteria now, 4 bacterial diseases. First one is called cholera. Cholera is caused by the agent called Vibrio cholerae, where it is occur in the intestine. It is transmitted through water. The symptoms of cholera is diarrhea, mostly diarrhea. Next disease is typhoid, caused by the organism called Salmonella typhi. Where does it occur? In the intestine again. It spread through water and food. Symptoms are headache. Next one is tuberculosis, caused by the organism called Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It occurs in the lungs. It spread through droplets and finally the symptoms are mostly the cough, it's sputum, nasal discharge. Next one is pneumonia. Causative agent for pneumonia is Streptococcus pneumoniae. The site of infection is lungs. It spread through droplets. And the symptoms of a pneumonia, it says brown color sputum. Now these are the few groups of bacterial disease caused in human being. Let's learn about the bacterial resistance. What is bacterial resistance? If an antibiotic is used too often to fight specific infection, if we kept on taking one same tablet or antibiotic for a specific infection again and again for a long time, the bacteria become very resistant. They don't act against the medicine or antibiotic to the species of antibiotics. If it kept taking tablet or antibiotic for one disease for a long time, the bacteria loses its resistance. The antibiotics no longer used for the treatment. Some bacteria develops resistance to many antibiotics and it is difficult to cure the disease. So how to overcome this? You can overcome this by avoid using antibiotics to treat minor infection. For smaller infection, you should avoid taking antibiotics. The second one is very important step, not to use antibiotics to treat the viral diseases. Let's go to the next topic, viral diseases. So, viral disease is the smallest intracellular obligate parasite. It multiplies within the living cells and they cannot survive outside. As we have discussed already, the virus is a puzzle for the scientists because they show living and non-living character. So, they cannot survive outside. The virus invade living cells and it's forcing cells to create new virus. And most of the viruses are very, very pathogenic. New virus break out of the cell, kill, causing diseases in human. Rhinovirus cause most common infection called common cold. Let's learn the types of viral diseases. So the viral diseases are grouped into 4 types based on the symptoms produced in a body. Now before we learn the 5 types, let us learn about the important virus called Nipah virus. This Nipah virus are called zoonotic virus because these virus spread from animals to human being and they spread through food and they will be asymptomatic. They will not show any symptoms in human being. But later that leads to respiratory illness. Okay, let's move to the 4 types of virus. The first virus is called, first viral disease is called pneumatic diseases. So what is pneumatic diseases? Example, influenza. Mostly this pneumatic disease affect the lungs. Okay, second one is called dermatotropic diseases. Example, chickenpox. Mostly this kind of disease caused on the skin diseases. Viscerotrophic diseases. Example, dengue. The internal organ, visceral organs will get affected due to this disease. The 4 types of viral disease called neurotropic disease. Example, polio. This group of virus attack the nervous system of our body. So that's all about the types of viral diseases. The first one is chickenpox, caused by the virus called zoster virus. It occurs in the respiratory tract. It spread through the droplet infection and the symptoms are fever with itchy skin. The next one is dengue fever, caused by flavivirus. It occurs in the skin and blood. It spread through the vector called mosquito and the symptom is a severe flu, fever. The next disease is common cold caused by rhinovirus. It occurs in the respiratory tract, spread by the droplet infection and symptoms are nasal congestion and throat infection. The last disease, chikungunya, caused by the virus called alpha virus, occur in the nervous system, spread through the vector and as you all know through the mosquitoes. The symptoms are fever and joint pain. Let's learn about the protozoan disease. Proto is first, zoan means animal. These are the first formed animal and they are unicellular in nature. Some of the protozoans are very pathogenic. They causes disease in human too. The first one, you can find the picture of Amibias histolytica. Apart from that, there are plenty of protozoans can cause some diseases. Let us learn one by one in detail. About 15 genera of protozoan live as parasite within human body and they can cause disease. Also cause diseases in plants, animals and marine life. Not only in human being, it also causes disease in plants, marine life and even in the animals. Some of the deadly human diseases are African sleeping sickness, Amibias and malaria caused by the protozoan. Let's learn one by one. Amibias. Can you see the insect spread by the insect? It is also called amoebic dysentery. It lives in human large intestine, feed on food particles, bacteria, etc. The infectious stage is trophozoite. It penetrates walls of host intestine and secretes some enzyme called histolytic enzyme which cause pain in the intestine, the stomach. It causes ulceration, removal of cells or the tissues in the cell wall, bleeding, abdominal pain, stool with excess of mucus. Now these are symptoms of Amibiasis. The symptoms are diarrhea to dysentery with blood and mucus in stool. As you know, they are spread by the insect called housefly. The symptoms are diarrhea to dysentery. Sometimes they pass motion with the blood and mucus. What's the vector here? The vector is housefly. Let's move to the next topic. African sleeping sickness. It is also one of the protozoan disease. Let's see about the African sleeping sickness. Can you find the fly here? Now this fly is called XII fly, blood sucking fly. These flies suck the blood and spread the parasite. Which parasite is involved in this? It is caused by the parasite called trypanosome species or trypanosoma. It is also trypanosoma is a protozoan which causes African sleeping sickness. You can find the people sleeping here because of the these are symptoms of African sleeping sickness. It is generally transmitted by the blood-sucking insect. You can find here the XII fly. The types of African sleeping sickness are Trypanosoma gambians, the first type. It is transmitted by the XII fly and cause the sickness called Central African sleeping sickness. The second one is Trypanosoma rodensens. It causes East African sleeping sickness. The third one is caused by Trypanosoma curzi. It is transmitted by the bug, cause Central American trypanosomiasis. Now these are the three types of Trypanosoma gambians which cause the sleeping sickness. Let's go to the next topic. What is the next disease? Kala Azar. The next is going to be Kala Azar. So, a type of the protozoan which causes Kala Azar, and it is also spread by the vector, the insect. Kala Azar is also called visceral leishmaniasis. It is caused by Leishmania donovani. And this Leishmania donovani is carried by the insect called Plebotomus. It's the name of the insect which spread the disease called Kala Azar. This infection occurs in endothelial cells, bone marrow, liver, lymph gland, spleen, blood vessels. Entire body gets infected by this organism called Leishmania donovani. So what are symptoms of this Kala Azar? The symptoms are weight loss, anemia, They also get fever. The spleen gets enlarged and the liver also get enlarged because of the disease called Kala-Azar. The next, a very common disease, malaria. So what are the symptoms of malaria? When someone gets symptoms, how do they look like? Raise in temperature, shivering, headache, ulceration in the stomach, stomach pain. All these are the common symptoms of malaria. So how does the malaria transmit? It's transmitted by the mosquito. As we all know, the female Anopheles mosquito is the main carrier of malaria. It carries the microorganism, the protozoan called Plasmodium species. So malaria is caused by different Plasmodium species like Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium vivax. So Plasmodium lives in the RBC of human being and mature, then become a mature trophozoid. We're going to learn about the life cycle of this malarial parasite. And as we just discussed, it is transmitted by the female Anopheles mosquito. Now let's learn the life cycle of this female Anopheles mosquito. The life cycle of Plasmodium species. Plasmodium species have two hosts. One is human being, the other one is mosquito. So what happened during the life cycle of Plasmodium species? First, when the mosquito bites a man, it injects. It says it injects the saliva along with the Plasmodium species. This life cycle concludes in 3 stages: schizogeny, gamogeny, and the sporogeny. There are 3 stages involved in the life cycle of Plasmodium species. So once it enters into the human being, first it enters the bloodstream. As the mosquito bites our body, through the blood, this microorganism spreads. First, it is in the form of sporozoite. Once the sporozoite enters inside the blood, from the blood, directly it will go to the hepatic cell. Where is the hepatic cell? Liver. It enters inside the liver. In the liver, these sporozoids undergo a lot of change. Sporozoid, nothing but they are the Plasmodium species, a stage of Plasmodium species. Okay, so the sporozoid undergo a lot of changes. It says the sporozoid become schizogeny inside the liver because they undergo multiplication. Asexual reproduction takes place and they undergo multiplication, they become schizogeny. In the liver cell, from the schizogeny they become another structure called merozoite. Okay, so the merozoite become enlarged in size, the vacuole also become larger. Okay, and they get another stage called signet stage, a ring-like structure. Okay, the final stage in the human being is called signet stage. Once the signet stage is over, directly the merozoite will come and stay in the bloodstream of the human being. So once the mosquito sucks the blood, the merozoite, blood along with the merozoite enter inside the salivary glands of mosquito. So sometimes when they are injecting, sucking, they become, the merozoite become 2 stages, macrogametocyte and microgametocyte. In the mosquitoes, once a mosquito sucks the merozoite and become 2 stages, macrogametocyte and microgametocyte. Macrogametocyte become female and microgametocyte become male structure. And later this macrogametocyte and microgametocyte fuse together and they form a zygote. Zygote undergo next stage called ookinete and later oocyte. The oocyte finally ends with the last stage called sporozoite. The sporozoite is grown, mature, and it will come and get deposited in the salivary gland of mosquito. And then the mosquito, when the mosquito bites another man, through saliva, the sporozoite transmits to the normal or a healthy man. Then why the human being get shivering when they get malaria? So when the last stage, the schizon stage, during schizon stage what happens? In the blood cell they produce a chemical called hemazone. So this hemazone allowed the blood cell to burst. As the RBC kept bursting, the person gets shivering. This is how the life cycle of mosquito takes place in human being. The lifestyle of Plasmodium takes place in two hosts, human being and the mosquito, female Anopheles mosquito. So what are the types of malaria or malarial diseases? There are, as we learned, there are 4 types of malaria. The first one is Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium malariae and Plasmodium vivax. These are 4 types of malaria. Among these 4 types, Plasmodium malaria, the malaria caused by Plasmodium malariae is quite common and can be curable. But the malaria caused by Plasmodium falciparum, it's fatal and sometimes it leads to death of the person. How can we prevent malaria? What are the preventive measures of malaria? So keeping our surroundings clean, closing the drainage places, keeping our toilets clean, having the net inside the house to avoid the mosquitoes to enter, wear full sleeve clothes in the evenings. You can use mosquito repellents, mosquito coil, mosquito cream just to avoid mosquitoes. Apart from this, you can follow the ABCD practices, have an awareness about malaria, be preventive and use some chemical which can kill the mosquitoes. And if you find someone has malaria, you can find the symptoms. So diagnosis, then you can treat them with it's very easily treatable malarial diseases except malaria caused by Plasmodium falciparum. That's all for today's class, children. Hope you enjoyed today's class. The new topic, the human health and diseases. We're going to continue the same lesson next week also. So keep reading. Make sure you understand the lesson. If you have any doubts, you can log into Google Classroom, complete the work, and then you can come and meet me in the doubt clearing Zoom or the revision Zoom. I'll be there waiting for you to clear all your doubts. Till that, goodbye. Have a good day.